this is Bug, and this isn't part 2 of my review of the 2027 Moto Guzzi V85 TT Travel. Why? Well, it's in the shop. If you've been following along my saga with the Moto Guzzi V85 TT Travel, the 2027 version that I bought, a couple of months ago? You know I haven't had the best of luck. The engine makes a sound that I can only describe as a bag of chicken beaks. Yeah, it sounds awful. Anyway, last weekend I was out riding old chicken beaks, and I got an alarm service warning on my dashboard. Alarm service? What the heck could that possibly mean? Well, I stopped and looked it up, and all I could really find out was that it's a non-urgent warning. You know, get the bike to the dealer when you can. So, you know, I was thrilled by this. And I had to wait all weekend to contact my dealer because it was the weekend and they don't open until Tuesday. So finally Tuesday came around and I said, hey, I've got this non-urgent alert on my dashboard. Can I bring it in? They said, sure, bring it in. So I brought the bike in. That was on Tuesday. And on my way home, I got a message saying, yeah, it's just you have no taillights and no brake lights. And I said, huh? That sounds urgent to me, but, you know, leave it to Moto Guzzi to not actually tell you on the dashboard that you have no brake lights. Just put up some random fucking thing that says alarm service. I don't know. So I had been driving around that whole day that I got that alert with no brake lights and no taillights. Lovely. Anyway, that was Tuesday that I brought the bike in. Today is, I don't know, Saturday. It's Saturday, end of the day. 5 days later? Is that right? Whatever. And I haven't heard a word from the dealer since I dropped the bike off and got that message on Tuesday afternoon. Not a word. So I don't know what's wrong with the bike. I don't know if I'm getting it back next week, 3 weeks from now, 3 months from now, or what. I certainly can't do a part 2 3,000 mile review of the bike because it sits in the shop. I don't have possession of the bike. I mean, I could do a review of the bike, but no one's going to want to hear that. The only thing I can do is make a video about my ownership experience over the 3 brand new Moto Guzzis that I bought. And I'd really rather do that while sitting on the Moto Guzzi V85 TT that I allegedly own. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's why you're not watching part 2 of my extended review of the Moto Guzzi V85 TT. I don't have it. It's in the shop. The thing that sucks even more about all of this is my birthday weekend. Yeah, I'm turning 26 on Monday. And so I had this giant plan to take the V85 TT on the 1,000-mile Iron Butt Challenge. I was going to do the 1,000 miles. I was going to stay over where I ended up, maybe stay with a friend, and then meander my way home, have a nice adventure, do some video taking and all that stuff, make a really nice video about it, and yeah, that's obviously not happening. Instead, I'm out today riding around the city on my trusty old Himalayan 450, the bike that just never lets me down. You may remember from such previous videos as, I don't know whether I'm keeping this damn thing, that I was contemplating letting this bike go. Well, I've since struck that video because the outpouring of emotion that came my way when I mentioned that I might sell this bike was sort of overwhelming and kind of beautiful. So I decided to scrap that video and keep the Himalayan, at least for the time being, at least through the winter, and probably forever, who knows. I have this wild idea, and y'all can tell me if you think this is cool or really stupid. I am thinking of completely customizing the Himalayan 450, a total bug build, and by that I mean like right down to stripping the paint and having it repainted and airbrushed by a professional, doing all kinds of shit to this bike, and then entering it into my favorite event of the year, the One Moto show that happens in Portland every May. It's like the official start of the summer for me, and earlier this year when the show came around, I was fortunate enough to enter in a Moto Guzzi V50 Monza into the show. You all know that story. If not, I'll probably forget to put a link to that bike up here in the video. But anyway, I kind of got the bug, if you will, to enter a bike into the moto show, a bike of my own. And I don't know, there's just something, the whole idea of entering a 2025 Himalayan 450 in this motorcycle show that has all these elaborate builds of, you know, these 70s and 80s Hondas and old BMWs and stuff like that, and Harleys and shit. Putting a almost brand new Royal Enfield Himalayan in there that's just completely modified, and I don't even know what the theme is. If you can think of a theme for the paint, I'd love to hear it in the comments. I love what Triumph Columbia River did with a Scrambler 1200 for some sort of contest that they entered in. I'll show you a picture of that bike. It's so cool, and I would love to do something like that. Or something that pays tribute to the fact that the bike went across the country and back. You know, maybe something travel related, or maybe something just deeply Pacific Northwest related. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. But I'm toying with the idea of doing this because I just think it'd be a lot of fun, and I'd like to take you along on that adventure. I think it'd be really cool. Anyway, back to the V85. I don't know what's going to become of that bike, if I'm being completely honest. My experience with it so far has been so dismal, so disappointing, that I can't see it turning around. I don't know how it's going to turn around. And at this point, I really wish I could just be done with it. I am exploring avenues to make that happen, and that's going to be a whole series unto itself, I think. But I'm not going there yet. But just know, I've heard a lot of you with your suggestions on how to rectify the situation, and I've taken them seriously, and I am probably moving forward. So, stick around for that. That'll be a good time. It being my birthday weekend, a weekend that traditionally I absolutely hate. Oh, look at this, a deer. Hi, buddy. Hi. Oh. What was I saying? That's why I gotta be really careful on these roads. There's always deer around. Anyway. Oh, that's a really good test of whether or not this 360 camera is just perfect for what I do. If I could just like go that way and show you that deer, then I'm thrilled. Anyway, back to birthday weekend. I traditionally hate my birthday weekend. I hate the idea of making plans and not having people show up or stuff like that. It's just a fear that I've always had. That's why I try to go off on a solo adventure or something, or just do something with Ladybug instead of making any elaborate plans. And that's why it's just so friggin' disappointing that I wasn't able to take my V85 out and do my little adventure this weekend. It really sucks. But the flip side to that is I'm really thankful to have this Himalayan 450. And I'm super, super thankful, and I know that I've beaten this horse to death, but I'm super thankful to have a shop like Sabatino Moto here in Portland that is just there when you need them. I never have to worry about this bike. I know if something goes wrong that it's going to get taken care of. I'm not going to have to beg. I'm not going to have to plead. I know that this shop has my back, and that's what you should be looking for when you buy a motorcycle. I made a video a long time ago about, you know, you should be shopping for the shop first and the motorcycle second, and I gotta be honest, I've never been more convinced of that than I am right now. So I'm thankful for my little Himalayan. I love this bike so friggin' much. It's just so good and so dependable. It almost feels like it knows that my other bikes are gonna turn to shit, and it's just it readies itself. It says, "Hey, I'm here if you need me. I got your back, man." And I really love that about this silly little bike of mine. This $6,000 Indian-made, built on a budget motorcycle that just never quits, and is just a blast to ride. So that's it. My meandering explanation of where the V85 is right now has concluded. Watch this video over here. It's excellent. This one won an Emmy for Best Supporting Actress. And I'll catch you on the next one.